morning sounds. Good morning, Costa Rica. Good morning, everyone watching. Okay, we're gonna be all cutesy today with this microphone because I get really excited to come out to the beach first thing in the morning. There's no one out here, and if they are out here, they're like working out or doing yoga or meditating or walking their dogs, and it's so inspiring to be around. But I like to come out with my camera, and you'll see that it's low tide, and so there's like a bajillion. Wow, my lighting is right the first time. Oh, that's a great photo. I was just doing it for this. There's a bajillion birds when it's low tide that go out on these tide pools. So I come out here every morning very ready to just take this whole thing in and be inspired by my surroundings. So today I got out here early for a different reason other than just to be inspired by my surroundings. Yes, I brought my camera and my journal and my coffee and all my things, but when I come to Costa Rica, I disconnect. I disconnect to a point to which it makes sense because obviously I'm still working out here. I care about my friends and family, so I want to know what's going on with them. And I just care about the world. And the way in which I am a therapist is I'm oftentimes trying to help people process what's going on in the world. So I gotta sometimes just make sure that I'm still being informed. And yeah, I'll use it as an excuse to get on and check social media when I'm taking a social media break. And that was my excuse initially, but then I got on and I saw LA is basically burning to the ground, and it's horrible, and I'm horrified. And all of the narratives of everything that's happened in Western North Carolina and everything that's now happening in LA is coming back to everyone talking about it's the end of the world as we know it. And I just want to perhaps remind us that it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. But this is a massive wake-up call. But also, I think the most important thing that ever is a takeaway from these like upheaval events is that nothing is promised. I could have not woken up this morning. A tree could have fallen on the little hut I'm staying on because the howler monkeys would have decided to go on a bad branch, and it could have killed me in my sleep. Like, the reality is, every single day, none of this is promised. Life is so very, very impermanent. And we can look at that and be anxious. Absolutely, we can be like, okay, well, I'm going to be afraid because I just want to hold on to all of my people and my things, and I want everything to stay the same forever and always, and that's just not healthy. The truth is, impermanence is here to teach us reverence. It's to teach us to not forget what really matters, which is our lives, our health, our loved ones. And we all get sucked up in this consumerism. I do it just as much. Now, I have made leaps and bounds in my consumerism, and it's hard. It's a hard conversation to have because when we talk about it, people then are like, but what are you doing wrong? And it's like 100%, it has to start within. And that's why part of the reason I bought a loft was I don't want the weight of a house. When I owned the house with Steve, I was sad. I was stuck at home. I filled every single inch of that house with something to try to make me feel better. And knowing that is something that I can easily fall into because how many things are you shown in your feed every single minute of every single day that you're like, oh, I should have that. You're right. You're absolutely right. I need that. It's a necessity in my life right now, right? Is it? No. You know, it's a necessity. Breathing, clean air, clean water, and food. Coming from a place of like living in alignment with my values, I'm going to take personal responsibility for my part of it. And that's why I bought a 900 square feet loft. I just want a small container to hold me and my things that are so dear to me that I would obviously be sad if I lost. But thankfully, I already have the understanding because I tried to buy a million things to make me feel better about my husband dying in front of me, and nothing made me feel better. And that's when I realized the only thing that matters is our actual physical body health, being alive, being able to have vitality and move and have access to clean air, clean water, and not have bombs being dropped around us. Like, none of my stuff actually matters. Now, I say this with like, if my house had just burned down or I lost everything in the flood, I would also be devastated. And so this is the human experience. It's like we're walking contradictions. We understand what really actually matters, but then we put a lot of value in other things. And I am just as responsible in this. And so I think all that I can take away from the disasters happening is that Mother Earth is not happy. And there's a lot of theories about foul play happening. And if that's the case, you think the planet's happy about that? Of course not. Like, at the end of the day, what's going on is destruction and chaos. And we have to do our part to try to bring the opposite energy. And that's why I was journaling yesterday. I was asking myself, how can I turn up my light? How can I turn up my light? I don't really know the answer other than to continue to do what I'm doing. But it's also making sure I'm aligned with my values and that I'm living in alignment with what I'm saying. And so, am I living in reverence of my health every day? Am I taking care of myself? Am I living in reverence of my community more than of collecting things? Building a community, I'm working on that. And that is something that I am thankful to have moved back to Atlanta for, because it's something that I've been craving. And I don't know, there's just so much swirling through my brain as terms of what can I do to help this not be the end of the world, but a creation of a new one. Because that's the opportunity we have here. We could take this awfulness and learn from it and grow from it, heal, and maybe create a different world. I would like to believe that that's actually possible, and I do believe that's actually possible, but I also believe it's going to take more than just me and one person. And I think that also just makes me realize that focus is going to be one of my most important things for 2025. And it's not just focusing on my dreams and my goals of like, oh, I want to take people to retreats. It's focusing on the act of actually bringing people to the light in any capacity that I can possibly do it. And remembering the bigger picture at play is that every single day that I wake up and I'm in this body that is as able as can be, and I'm learning to love her and take care of her again because she got a little neglected recently. Every day that I wake up and my mind is working, thank you. Every day I wake up and I have access to safety, clean air, water. Like, obviously I'm moving to Atlanta. Clean air is relative compared to this, but I don't live in a war zone. My town isn't burning around me right now. I don't have toxic sludge rivers flooding my spaces. I'm incredibly privileged. And every day I have that, I'm going to wake up and be thankful, so very thankful for what I have. And then try to use all of my energy and putting good out into the world and putting healing out into the world and hopefulness, and remind people that if we come together, we need to come together. Like, we aren't doing this on our own. We aren't doing this divided. We aren't doing this hating each other. We're not doing this unless we absolutely can get on the same page as humans need each other, and we're all in a human crisis. There's so much happening that's begging us. It's literally begging us to come together and ignore the powers to be trying to divide us and actually do something with all of this power and energy that we have as humans. I promise I'm trying to listen to the call. It's a little bit overwhelming because sometimes it's like, what am I supposed to do with all this? But if you would all resonate with me, please leave a comment. I'm curious as to how everyone else is feeling about everything going on, how you're processing. Just make sure that you're tending to your mental health and you're not invalidating anything that's going on in your world just because it's not as bad as what's going on in other people's. Your experience is valid, your life is valid, your pain is valid, you are valid. And take a moment to just appreciate everything you have, everyone you have, and love on yourselves and each other. I'm at my spot that literally you see like 5 people here the whole time. I don't know how this is still possible. And knowing the rate of everything developing, I don't think it's going to be this way forever. So I feel incredibly privileged to get to experience this. And I'm having one of those days where my brain is trying to sort out so much conflicting information. Ultimately, today I'm going to sit here in this spot and I'm going to sort through everything. Because, you know, the Walt Whitman quote that says, do I contradict myself? Yes, because I'm a multidimensional human. I have many dimensions or something, so yes, I contradict myself. I don't know if that's the right saying, but you get the gist. I feel that, and I'm feeling myself pulling away from so many different narratives and trying to tune into what's actually in resonance with me. And I think that's what it is. It's like I am all about 2025 being in my resonance, in my value systems, in alignment with me, in alignment with my focus and with what I'm trying to build, while still being able to hold space for other people and all of the world's things, but not losing this container. And it's, how do you build this container where you can harness your energy, you can create the safe space within yourself, so then you can then take it out into the world. But then when you take it out into the world, you don't then just all of a sudden fall into a pile of, well, there went all that work. And, you know, how do you hold all these different awarenesses? And it's a lot. And sometimes my brain just needs some stillness and some space. And so that's the thing that Costa Rica is really good at for me. There's something that I really, really enjoy, and it's watching humans try new things for the first time. And I'm sitting here in my spot in the shade. We have titled her Made in the Shade. And I see some people trying surfing for the first time. And I love it because they're struggling, honestly, but they're out there trying. They're doing it. And it just is so inspiring to me, because we as humans don't want to do anything that's going to make us not look cool. And I didn't always know what I was doing. I still don't always know what I'm doing, but it doesn't stop me from trying. And I think watching people actually get out there and attempt life is one of my, it's just so endearing. And it so reminds you of what the whole zest of being alive is about. It's just trying things, putting yourself out there, living fully without worrying what anyone's going to think about you. Yes, please don't go put yourself in danger. Have discernment. Be safe. And also, though, try new things, because you'd be surprised at the joy that is accessible when you just allow yourself to play and allow yourself to be a beginner. I think that's why so many meditation things talk about the beginner's mind, and I think it's because it's that it allows you to have that experience of life without all of the what if this and what if that and all the noise and all the, because right now what I'm having I don't think struggle is the right word. I'm not struggling. I'm living my best life right now, but my brain is tied up in knots at the moment because there's so many things that are just like spinning through it that I'm trying to process and trying to sort, and I need to have a little bit more beginner's mind, meaning I just need to just play, be in life, be in existence, surrender to trying to have everything figured out and processed, and have more of that stillness and more of that. All I know for sure is there is a redirection of my focus and a redirection of my attention and a redirection of my awareness and a redirection of my energy. And of course, it's going to take time to understand and unravel and see. And because I seek clarity, clarity is seeking me, so it will come. We know this to be true. We've been here a million times before. And I am so thankful, actually, to be in a space where I'm like, I'm going to sit here for a minute and I'm going to figure it all out. But I also feel like sometimes I could do a better job of sharing the process. So here's the process. All inspired by a man trying to surf for his first time, I'm assuming. It seems that way. And we love that for him and me. Yesterday, I had an epiphany about the reason that when I come here, I can feel my nervous system just like soothing better than I can do in my own spaces. And it's because there's a stillness here. There's a plant yourself in a town, find a routine, which I'm developing, and tap into that. No need to necessarily like constantly be on the go. And I don't know if it's an ADHD thing or if it's just that I have been trying to process a million things at the same time, but there's been a lot of mind tangles that I can feel being untangled. And it's as if like a massage therapist is in there just massaging my brain, getting rid of it. It feels that good. If you've ever had one of those brain knots where you're just mulling through something and you can't seem to get through it and you're like trying to get your mind off of it because it just feels like it's a bunch of knots, and then all of a sudden things kind of come clearer and everything kind of unties. I think you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, hopefully I'm describing it well. It just feels like an ease of a muscle that is your brain. Where'd you go, little baby? I saw it. Oh, there you are. It's that little yellow bellied thingy. Oh, you're so cute. Is my lighting okay? Perfect. Oh, and he's in focus. Okay, so sometimes it feels weird to be happy and to feel like things are going well for you when it doesn't feel like the rest of the world is in that energy and that it feels like things are not going well for other people. I really wish there was there might even be some sort of psychological term for this, and I'm just not the therapist that knows every term. I'm the therapist who just knows how to hold space really well for people and how to guide them to untangle all their own webs, because that's what I'm really good at doing. But there is something to be said about the fact that we stop ourselves from feeling genuine joy because the rest of the world isn't suffering. And I just want to ask, what does that do for those that are suffering? I mean, I know the whole phrase misery loves company, but does it though? Does that make anybody feel better? Does that give you a refill of your cup so that then you can then go be of service to those that are in need? No. What actually helps you refill your cup is to allow yourself to experience joy in whatever moment you're in. And I say this probably repeatedly because I find myself in these beautiful scenarios. And then I'm like, but what about those that are in the middle of a war zone? Or what about those whose houses just burnt down? Or those whose houses they just lost in the flood? Why don't they get to have this experience? And who's to say they won't at some point? But who's to say I'm going to not be able to help them based off of me having this experience? Like I'm the container to carry the energy of this space back. I like that thought. Oh my gosh, they're just so fluttery. Did I get them? To be able to choose where your focus goes, I think that's the real ticket. To be able to say, hey, I'm in Costa Rica right now, and my focus is going to go on this light, this water, these rocks, these birds, these trees, all at the same time. And even if that means I'm spinning in circles, I am living very alive right now, and I'm very happy. I read a quote yesterday, and it said, "A life on purpose is the most empowered life that you have." And so here's my idea of focus now. It's on purpose. It's wherever I'm putting my attention on purpose, for my purpose. My literal purpose is to bring hope into the world and to bring light into the world. And so allowing myself moments of delight by allowing my attention to be drawn by whatever just whimsy is surrounding me at the moment is part of my purpose. It's living on purpose. So what I have come to understand about focus is this. I, yes, need to have daily things that are my focus. A writing practice, because I'm a girl who is trying to spread messages through words. A journal practice, which is different than writing practice, because writing is me actually going and kind of trying to channel whatever message wants to come through to me. Journaling is my processing. Journaling is where I work out what's going on in my mind. I can work out creative ideas, or I process whatever my mind is ruminating on. Journaling is my practice of making sure my mind is right. And then other things I need to do daily for like a daily focus would be moving my body and eating well. And that's because part of my purpose is living in alignment with my values. And one of my number one values is my health, because without my health, there's nothing. And I learned that from Steve. It's that if you're in a health crisis, literally nothing else matters, period. And I think we're seeing that more and more, that our health is what is the absolute most important thing. And so therefore, if I'm living in alignment with my values, because that's part of my purpose, is to be a message of hope. And being a message of hope means I'm embodying hope, right? I'm embodying what it means to feel hopeful for a future, which means I'm taking care of myself and I'm taking steps towards a future that I'm believing in, right? So daily focus, 100%, writing, journaling, eating well, moving my body. When I'm with my clients, I want to be focused. No one wants to be that therapist who is unfocused whenever you're talking to your clients. Your clients are going to know that. They're not going to come back to you if your mind is like, oop, bloop, 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 you know? And yeah, of course, there's moments throughout my client sessions where I'll be like, oh, so sorry, like something happened in my surroundings, because we're all virtual. But my primary focus when I'm on those calls is them, 1,000,000%. And that's also how I'm able to hold space and exchange that energy that is able to help transmute a lot of their pain, is that somebody's actually giving them their focused awareness and attention. But aside from the dailies, I need to just wake up in the morning and be like, what is purposeful for me to put my focus on right now? Sometimes it literally is just wandering and finding beauty and working with the muse that is nature and God and the universe. Sometimes that really is all it is. Sometimes it's like, okay, my focus needs to be on what's stopping me, blocking me, like sit in some stillness, meditating extra. Meditating is another daily. Sometimes that focus is on 100% working on a project because there's a deadline and it has to be done, or 100% working on a project because that inspiration is there for the day. And I am starting to understand that focus can be given pockets. It doesn't have to be this rigid way in which everyone kind of tries to structure it. And that's how my brain loves to think about it. Yes, there needs to be daily non-negotiables. And yes, there needs to be things that I'm holding myself accountable for, but not because somebody told me to, but because it's part of my purpose. And that's what's going to end up fueling me to want to actually follow through and be consistent and do the things. It's because I understand what its purpose is. And its purpose is to keep me in my best self, to keep me in my light, to keep me in the hopefulness, to keep me in my strength, to keep me in my power, to keep me empowered, so that I can then be the container to bring that energy for everyone I work with. And so if you've been a type of person that's been like, oh, I don't really understand the world's synopsis of focus, and I don't really know how to find my focus, perhaps focus isn't where your attention needs to go to. It's purpose. What is your purpose? What purpose do you feel like you are here for? And what do you need to focus on in order to fulfill that purpose? And so for me, if I'm going to be a messenger of hope and try to bring more light to the world, that's where my focus is going. There's no person that's going to be able to explain to you what your template of focus is. Isn't that kind of beautiful though? Because then it's like, you get to decide. You get to decide where your energy and attention and focus are going. And is it fueling your purpose, or is it fueling distraction? This is fueling purpose. I mean, hello. I'm thankful. So thankful. Hello, I see you. The more you look for birds, the more your awareness then opens up to finding birds. It's like what you're seeking is seeking you. I don't really know that I understood how much, the whole when your mind opens to new dimensions, more things are shown to you kind of thing. It's like the more you start to get attuned to bird activity, because they're just like little tiny balls of energy. They just bounce around in between thick, lush greenery. The more you focus, the more you're able to see. Damn, look at birding, tying my message up with a nice bow. Oh, I see it, I found it. Oh yeah, he's posing for me. Is my lighting good? Oh, it's too dark, hold on. Please don't move. Thank you, my bird friend. Now how's my lighting? Perfect. Now let's get him in focus. Focus. See? Oh my god, let's get him in focus. That's hilarious. Holy full circle. This thing just randomly started recording and I forgot it did that, and it just... Hello, howler monkeys. Ooh, I can hear you. Hopefully I can see you soon. Okay. Focus plus play plus gratitude plus purpose plus passion equals a life well lived.